Now, the funny part of this equation, if we go over here, we go master marketing equation, the right message, the right person, and the right time and place. Well, the right message and the right time and place are both dependent on the right person, because for every individual, that's going to be a different message and a different time and place. And so then I came up and I said, all right, well, if we have this master marketing equation and we at least understand the components that we're going to try to make that work for this thing, what's the next smartest question that we can ask? And that was, so here question 2 is, in my quest for this is, well, if everything's dependent on the right person, how do we identify, what is that? How do you know who the right person is to focus all your marketing on? And as a business owner, you know, we've all probably heard, I don't know, it's a kind of 50-50 if people have heard or done this, but we've all heard this idea of coming up with buyer personas, customer avatars, things like this. And those are all well and good. But I said, what I wanted to do is I wanted to dive into this. And my whole goal with my business and marketing was to remove the subjective nature, the guessing. Anytime where you start a sentence with, I think, that's a guess, that's subjective. And so what I wanted to do is say, how can we answer these questions with data, with objective information? And that's where this whole idea of reverse engineering came about. And if you have a business that's doing at least 6 or 7 figures, you can do this by, first of all, just asking the question, who is this customer? And in my eyes, and I'm going to ask if you agree with this, but your most ideal right customer is your most profitable customer. Who is it that drives the most profits for your business? And I don't know if you've ever heard of this concept called the Pareto principle. It's also known as the 80-20 principle. If you've run your business for any length of time, you can certainly just intuitively think about your customer base, but 80% of your profits are coming from 20% of your customers. It maybe isn't necessarily 80-20, it could be 70-30, 90-10, but your profit flow in your business, your cash flow in your business is not balanced, it is imbalanced. And so what we want to do is, given the fact that we have limited time, money, and resources, and we need to deploy the time, money, and resources, it makes sense to me to do it absolutely where we're making the most money. Everything else can fall away to the wayside. So the first answer to this question here, the right person, becomes then your most profitable customer. And then it's just a matter of getting into your books and going through the process of identifying who is the most profitable customer for your business during a given time frame. Time is the element most people forget to measure. It can be a year, it can be 5 years. It depends on the nature of your business, whether you're B2B or B2C. But you want to have some sort of time-bound constriction on when you define who is your most profitable customer. So that's that question. Then I stopped and I asked myself, okay, so if we've answered who's the right person, at this point, the next smartest question I can answer is, well, okay, what about this right message and right time and place question? How do I know what to say to this person in order to win their business? And then the marketing strategies, when you think about strategies for your business, that's the right time and the right place. You certainly don't want to be that salesman calling at dinner time, right? Like, you need to time the right message and give that message to the person at the right time and place. There's a lot of instances, particularly in the B2B world, where maybe Facebook advertising is not the most appropriate venue for you. Certainly, if you know, one of the businesses I started was a supplement business, and we do a lot of advertising on Facebook. And the thing is we sell supplements to help people with health ailments. And one of the things that Facebook is very sensitive about, as well as we are, is we don't want to run an ad or start a conversation with a potential prospect that makes them raise their hand and self-identify with a health condition. At that point, you're crossing into all sorts of weird HIPAA land, privacy issues. There's case after case of This goes back to Target remarketing around pregnancy. I don't know if you ever heard the story. There was a young girl, 15 years old, who was accidentally pregnant. And her parents were extremely conservative. She hadn't told them yet. And this was years ago, before all the privacy laws that we have today are in effect. But basically what happened is she was surfing online, just trying to learn about what does it mean about being pregnant? What is it, if I have this baby, what do I got to do? Diapers, cribs, all that stuff. Well, what happened is she was on Target, and Target started remarketing. If you've seen those ads that follow you around the web, remarketing a bunch of pregnancy products and baby products to her home computer. So when her parents came in home that night to work or just get on the computer, all of a sudden they saw all these ads for pregnancy products. And you can imagine that was a big deal. And it turned into a giant lawsuit for Target. And that was kind of the impetus for all the privacy protection that we have today. But it just goes to the point of the right message to the right time in the right place. You need to discover that. And the way you do that is once you've gotten into your books and you've identified who is the most profitable customer, then it's a matter of doing the right research on that customer. And now is where you want to identify, that business avatar. And you want to get in and do the customer research. What are the person's problems? How does your solution solve those problems for that person? And one of the key elements in doing this research is you have to take it almost from the back. Again, you have to reverse engineer this stuff. You have to come from the backside. You can't ask somebody what they want. Most people have no idea what they want. I know, I don't even know what I want for dinner tonight, let alone if you were to ask me, what do I want from my my B2B internet service provider, other than fast internet, something really obvious, I don't have an answer for you. So the way around this is doing really good research, and you come in from the backside and you plant the ideas of when you think about the benefit of the solution you provide, what is it that you struggle with, things like that. And then, so that's going to answer your right message part of this master marketing equation. The last part of the equation is the right time and the right place. And what you're doing then is you're basically just finding out from that person when they're in the mindset of solving that problem. You ask them, where do they go to solve that problem? In a B2B scenario, your customer could be going to trade shows. They could be doing research online. They could be calling or going to different associations. If it's a B2C solution, maybe they're going to YouTube to watch videos, they're going to Facebook groups, LinkedIn, whatever the platform, whatever the venue that they go do research in, that is what's going to dictate your marketing strategies. And if you do this process right, we've executed this with a few friends and a few clients where you can literally get it down to the point where if you get a broad enough sampling in your data research that you can get it down to, you're going to know 27% go to YouTube, another 19% go to Facebook groups, and then another 12%. You can get it to the point where your percentages, and then exactly for every dollar and every hour I have to spend on marketing, I can then take 27% and dedicate it to that channel, 27 cents to that channel. And then it becomes, as a CEO and entrepreneur, it becomes really, really clear where to spend your time. You can then make the decision, well, is SEO one of those three channels? And honestly, you do not want to do more than 2 or 3 marketing strategies or 2 or 3 marketing channels at a time. Each one, again, it's that idea of an iceberg. Each one is so deep and so complex these days that you really cannot bite off more than 1, 2, or 3 of them.